Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the True Kings podcast. Today we got episode 2. This episode, I told you guys we're gonna get into some more mature topics with the True Kings podcast. And today we got a topic that became very big yesterday. One of my favorite sports. If actually it is my favorite sport, basketball. I absolutely love basketball. And today, the topic that we're gonna get into is, of course, the situation going on with Morant. You know what I'm saying? This is something I've been wanting to kind of speak on since yesterday. Yesterday was Mother's Day. So I hope you all had a fantastic Mother's Day. Shout out to all the mothers out there. You know what I'm saying? But it's time we get into the situation with Morant. As I told you guys coming into this podcast, the first episode, I told you guys I wanted to get into mature topics, sports topics, all this with this podcast. Things you guys want me to speak on. Now, of course, there's going to be some stuff I won't touch on, but sports is definitely going to be one of those topics I touch on. And so let's get to it. But anyway, Saturday morning or around Saturday afternoon, one of the two, Morant was seen once again on an Instagram live. Now, there's no problem with that, right? Seeing listening to Young Boy once again on Instagram Live, just chilling in the car with his homies. I don't know what it is with John Morant. John Morant plus his homies plus Young Boy equals flexing with guns. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about John Morant, but he loves sitting there and flexing guns on Instagram Live. Now, for those who don't know, about maybe 2 months ago, John Morant was seen doing this again, or was seen doing this earlier in the year. He was in a strip club listening to Young Boy again, you know what I'm saying, with his homies, and he pulled out the gun and he started flexing it. Now, I don't know what it is about John Morant. We thought he all maybe had changed. We all kind of, let's be honest, we all kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt, hoping that he changed and he learned his lesson. The first time it's a mistake, the second time that's on you. Um, like what J. Cole said, fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. You know what I'm saying? Um, John Morant, fooled us one time, shame on you. Fooled us twice, we can't put the blame on him because this is who he is. I'm sorry. But this is, I don't know, I'm starting to think this is who John Morant is. First off, beginning of the year, allegations came out that he had beat up a 17-year-old. He and his group of friends jumped a 17-year-old while playing basketball or at his training camp. And then another allegation came out talking about how uh he and his friends threatened a lady in a Memphis mall because she had gotten to a little, or not a lady, threatened an employee of, I don't know what store, I think it was a shoe store, um of in a Memphis mall because that employee kind of got at it with his mom. You know what I'm saying? Got into a little argument with his mom. And so there are these allegations coming out about John Morant, and you know, everyone kind of was in denial at first. Everyone was kind of took John Morant's side. I'm not gonna lie, I took John Morant's side on everything. I was like, well, Ja hasn't really done anything. This could just be different situations where people are just trying to get clout. We see this all the time in the news where a person becomes so well known and so famous in an area that people then come and they try to sit there and make money off that person. We see all the time in different cases and all this stuff. And I thought it was the same way with Jaw until he flexed the gun on Instagram Live the first time about 2 months ago. Now, when he first did this, of course, he got suspended from the team for about 8 days, 8 games, and in those 8 games, he went to the quickest therapy sessions I've ever seen in my life. Therapy for 8 days is crazy. You know, everyone know, if you know me, I did therapy last year somewhat, and I was in it for not even that long. I was in it for months trying to fix myself. Ja was in it for only 8 games and came back. So that's the crazy part. But he seemed like he realized the magnitude of what he had done. And we all thought that, okay, he's a super. In my opinion, John Morant is a superstar in the NBA on the Memphis Grizzlies. He is one of the most talented players I believe we currently have in today's basketball. And so we all wanted to see him, still strive for success and everything. And then, they lost to the Lakers, which I was hoping that was going to happen. I'm a LeBron fan, so I got to root for my Lakers. But they lost to the Lakers, and of course, that was due to the antics that's going on this season with not just John Morant, but with Dylan Brooks and everyone like that. And, John Morant was in a post game, post conference, and basically he said, he's got to do better, work better, become a better person and a better leader for this team. And because he knows he has people looking up for him. So y'all figured, okay, John Morant had changed. John Morant has changed. And then all of a sudden, this guy gets on Instagram Live Saturday with his friends. First off, L Mans, by the way, L friend, you know, L friend. Um, if I don't care who it is, you know, if I got situations or problems going on right in my life, and my friends pull out a camera, and we getting lit on camera. If I already got in trouble once for those problems, right? I'm making my friends better make sure I do not pull that type of stuff on camera again, especially if it's a live video. This Now, granted, the friend, I give him a little credit. He tried to when he saw that Jaw had that gun out flexing it again. He kind of moved the camera quick, hoping that no one saw it. But you know how people are. People quick. They able to stop. They able to record, stop, and see what it was. So news broke out yesterday about this. This kind of went viral. I woke up to it yesterday morning on Mother's Day, and then about an hour or so later, the Memphis Grizzlies released a statement saying that they are suspending John Morant until further notice. And there's no other statement for now. And makes sense on the Grizzlies, Ja Morant's one of those players that I feel like if this is like any other player, they would have released him like completely by now. But because he's a literal superstar in the NBA, a guy who, in my opinion, could potentially become an NBA champion one day, could potentially be an MVP one day. Like, you don't want to just straight up release this guy because he's so good and he has so much potential. But that just goes to this should raise a lot of questions, and it kind of did when he first did this 2 months ago about this current generation. Now, yes, I am a part of this current generation. I'm 20 years old, but even I don't get into a lot of things like this. This current generation, and this is my problem with this current generation. This current generation is so toxic on so many levels that it's honestly it's bothered me for years, and it's bothered me way more this year than anything. I'm gonna be honest with you. People love just doing toxic things, toxic relationships, toxic music, all this stuff, right? Now, granted, toxic music can be kind of cool sometimes. I love listening to a few toxic songs, but I don't ever act on those toxic songs. People love watching toxic media, all this stuff, right? And it's something about toxic media, especially in this generation, that people just love so much. And John Morant, I don't know, he's one of these kids who you can clearly tell, like, he didn't grow up rich, but he grew up with a lot more than a lot of other kids have, especially where he, claims he lives and everything, and the it claims where he went to school and stuff. Um, I get it. I gotta say this. There's something about us in the black community that's just simply like we love. I'm not gonna say we as a whole, but majority of the black culture, black people in America nowadays just love the hood culture. Love they feel like if you aren't dressing a certain way, if you aren't acting a certain way, then in a way you kind of just you don't belong. I've been called not just by black people, but even white people. But majority black people, I've been called someone that's like an Oreo. You feel me? Because I don't tend to dress up, you know, how I dress up is I kind of dress up neat all the time when I can. I don't really go and do what other people say black people do. I don't talk a certain way that people think black people should talk. And in my opinion, it's not fair, but it is what it is. The thing about Ja Morant is I feel like Ja probably dealt with this stuff growing up where he probably talked a certain way, acted a certain way, and people called him an Oreo. People probably said like he's not really black and all that stuff. And I'm gonna be honest with you, as a young black man in America, that can kind of get to you. Like, and there's this statistic that I was reading a book, and I'm gonna actually research this real quick. There was this statistic of which race of men deals with the most insecurities about themselves, and I think it said black men. Uh, Let me see uh which race of men deals with the most insecurities. This was said in a book. Uh, I don't know. I got to do more research on that to see if that's true, but y'all can look that up yourselves. Um, but I can sit here and tell you, if you know me personally and everything, I've dealt with a lot of insecurities about myself, and I can definitely sit here and tell you, I feel like that's probably what John Morant dealt with growing up, going to school and everything, and probably hearing that. But people loved him because he was so good at basketball, right? And I feel like Ja tries his best to essentially fit in. And that's the thing about this generation is we're so caught up in fitting in that it's kind of it's crazy, honestly. Like it's so crazy. But here's what I really want to get into, though. Here's what I really want to get into. No offense to Ja Morant, because Ja, like I said, Ja is an incredible player. But something he doesn't realize, this is something a lot of people have said, but even I'm saying this, I've seen people who are way younger than me have said this. Ja Morant is in a position of power. Does he not understand that? You have the fame, the fortune, the leadership, the talent, right? John Morant is currently, I believe he's currently on a contract that's worth over 100 million. In fact, no. I know he's on a contract that's worth over $100 million. John Morant is on a contract that's worth over $100 million. Ja, one thing you have to understand, my guy, is the first time you had these allegations come out, right? People were on many people were on your side about it. People were like, "Oh, that 17-year-old's probably lying. Oh, that worker is probably lying. Josh seems like a good guy. They look up to you." You had so many people on your side, and then you go and flex the gun, right? Now, when you flex the gun, people called you stupid. We all called you stupid. We all was like, "Bro, what is he doing?" But when you came back, we gave you the benefit of the doubt. And the NBA gave you the benefit of the doubt. The NBA said, you know what? He's so talented. He makes us money. He hasn't done anything bad other than this. Let's sit there and give him the benefit of the doubt and let him come back to play the game of basketball. Your career was still intact, Ja. But dude, this time, bro, now the NBA might not give you a second chance. One thing we've all have learned about the NBA over the years, right? Is the NBA is a business thing, is a business mindset first place. You know, you can have this superstar caliber player, right? They would rather give if not if okay, they would rather have a superstar caliber player, all right, and they can go years upon years of working with this superstar caliber player. All right. If you are not winning with this superstar caliber player, like every year you probably make the play in, or you don't make the play in, or you make the first round and your first round exit, right? You try to build around this player and everything, and nothing is working. Then you're going to trade that superstar player no matter how good he is. You're going to trade him, and you're going to get back assets, some draft pieces, all this stuff. You're going to get back all of that. And then you might, a few years later, you might draft another superstar, then a star beside him. You may make a trade for another star. And now you got this big three. Okay. And this big three may take you from not making the playoffs to just making the play in to just making the first round to a whole NBA championship in 1 year. We've seen that so many times throughout NBA history. Ja Morant, you may be a superstar, but I promise you this: all because you're a superstar does not mean the NBA is not gonna want to get rid of you. You got to understand this. Jaren Jackson Jr., okay, is another star on that team. He's not as talented as Ja, but he's still a very talented player. They may sit there and say, you know what, forget Ja Morant. Let's build around Jaren Jackson Jr. Let's build around Jaren Jackson Jr. The NBA can still make money off of that. And they may even find a better team for Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, will I think it will be a lot harder to build around Jaren Jackson Jr.? Of course. But this is possible, you know. Ja Morant, your career is in very strong jeopardy right now. You know, you are so blessed to the point to where like you have no idea. Like you are literally one of the chosen ones, dude. You're one of the chosen ones. You know how many people make it into the NBA? It is so hard to make it. I used to have NBA dreams, dude. Dog, I used to have NBA dreams, but am I in the NBA? No, I'm not in the NBA. Everyone in the world has probably had NBA dreams. I promise you. We all wanted to get into the NBA, win an MVP, win an NBA championship, a finals MVP, become an all-star MVP. All of us have wanted to do that, but did we? No. None of only a select amount of people make the NBA. Only a select amount of people. Ja, you are one of those select amount of people, and you're sitting here and you're dancing online and then holding a gun like this again. Hold on. I'm gonna use my tripod. You know what I'm saying? Holding a gun like this again. Come on, man. Come on, man. Do better, bro. Like I said, one thing I had to understand is, and people have let me know more and more over the years, and I've seen it more so this year, ever since I really started my self improvement journey this year. Is so many people look up to me more, and they actually let me know they look up to me. They come to me for advice. They come to me for a lot of different things, and it's like they continuously come to me about these things. Ja, you've had that for years now. You've had that since 2019, bro. And it's like you're just this whole season, this whole second half of the season is like you just try to throw it away. Last off season, it's like you try to throw it away. I can sit here and guarantee you. I can sit here and guarantee you, they're gonna look even deeper into those allegations now about how you attacked that 17-year-old and that worker. I guarantee you, they probably already. I know they started looking into it more when you when you decide to flex the gun the first time. This time they really gonna look into it now. It's like you worth over 100 million, man, and you sitting here and ready to throw it all away. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I actually wanted to come on here and talk about that and get my thoughts out there I want to know what y'all think though. That's gonna be crazy. I want to do other things with this podcast. I want to go live on here one day. I got to figure out how to do that though. But also, I actually had another episode 2 planned, but I decided to trash that one and redo it and just make it episode 3 most likely if nothing else happens. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I want to know your thoughts on John Morant in this situation. And we definitely gonna talk about some more basketball stuff. We gonna get into I can get into the Lakers versus Warriors right now if I wanted to, but nah, I ain't gonna get into that. Shout out my Lakers for beating. I told everybody. I told y'all. Lakers in 6. I told y'all. Lakers in 6. Stop playing. I just want to say this. So far, all my playoff predictions for not I haven't paid attention to every series, but for majority of series have been right. I was right about the Heat beating the Knicks. I was right about the Celtics beating the 76ers. I was right about the Lakers beating the Warriors. I was right about the Warriors beating the Kings. Now the Nuggets and the Suns, I didn't know which way that was gonna go, so I didn't even think about that one. But all I'm saying is y'all let me know what other topics y'all want me to talk about. Like I said, it's a more mature channel. This is a more mature podcast, more mature channel. We getting into all sorts of topics, basketball, mainly basketball. That's like the only sport I'm probably gonna be talking about. We can get into my thoughts on other situations going on in the world, you know, um, just things of that nature, and let me know. But anyway, I'm gonna definitely catch you guys when I see you guys. Y'all stay breezy, you feel me? And remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast vid, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.